Our speaker is Sreejita Ghose from University of Kent-Canterbury, United Kingdom. Today, she presents her talk on the topic, Does benevolent sexism influence heterosexual women's dating preferences?
Hi, my name is Sreejita, and my presentation is on my master's degree dissertation on benevolent sexism and its influence on heterosexual dating. So, some things about me. My name is Sreejita Ghosh, like I mentioned before. I did my master's in social psychology at the University of Kent in Canterbury, which is the United Kingdom. Um, and I'm presenting my dissertation research, like I mentioned before. So, what is benevolent sexism? So, Benevolent sexism is part of the ambivalent sexism theory, which was developed by Lick and Fisk in 1996. It distinguishes between two different types of sexism. Hostile sexism, which is more commonly known as violence against women, for example, or belief that women are inferior, and etc. While benevolent sexism was more subtle sexism, such as women are harmless and need help a lot, and that they're fragile creatures in need of protection. Basically, this is a reward and punishment system that preserves a patriarchal society and prevents gender equality. So, for some previous studies and background research, Gohl and Kolfer back in 2019 found that women rated benevolent sexist men as more attractive than non-benevolent egalitarian men. Feminist orientation had no effect on this, and even though the women rated the benevolent sexist men as more undermining than the non-benevolent egalitarian men, they found them more attractive. So Kugelman in 2021 replicated Golan-Kulfer's design, and results confirm the attraction to benevolent sexist men was explained by perceptions of investment, not by the sexist ideology itself. So for my study, I introduced a new condition called the benevolent egalitarian man. This is a replication of the Golan-Kulfer study back in 2019. And the difference is that previous studies only had a benevolent sexist man versus a non-benevolent egalitarian man. So for methodology, heterosexual or bisexual female participants were randomly assigned to one of three vignette conditions describing a male character. These were all undergraduate students from the University of Kent. The three conditions were benevolent egalitarian, benevolent sexist, and non-benevolent egalitarian. Participants completed a questionnaires measuring their perceptions of the male character, whose name was Matt, ideological beliefs, and socioeconomic status perceptions. So for results. So the benevolent egalitarian man and the benevolent sexist man combined together were rated a higher overall than the non-benevolent egalitarian man in their attractiveness ratings. While with the benevolent egalitarian man rated as attractive the most overall. Then, when it came to feminist ideology, based on the female participants' feminist orientation, women that scored higher on the feminist orientation were more likely to prefer the benevolent egalitarian man, while women who were lower on feminist orientation were more likely to prefer the benevolent sexist man. And then when it came to benevolent sexism, it was another questionnaire on like how much they agreed on, how much the female participants agreed on benevolent sexism. Women who agreed with benevolent sexism more, or had a higher benevolent sexism inventory score, were more likely to endorse, to prefer, have a higher attraction to the benevolent sexist compared to the benevolent egalitarian, and vice versa. Women who were had a lower benevolent sexism inventory score were more likely to prefer the benevolent egalitarian man compared to the benevolent sexist man. There's also another questionnaire called the traditional gender role ideology. This did not significantly moderate the effect of condition on attraction. For the motherhood penalty, neither the main effect nor its interaction with condition was significant. The planned contrast, benevolent versus non-benevolent men, was marginally non-significant. For male income advantage, no significance were found. So there was also other questions on motherhood penalty and income advantage, male income sorry, male income advantage in the study as well, but it did not really no results were found that much. So yeah. So then when it comes to more results, when it comes to undermining specifically, the benevolent egalitarian man attraction was higher compared to benevolent sexist man because they were perceived as less undermining. In contrast, the mediation effect was not significant for benevolent sexist men versus non-benevolent egalitarian men, indicating that there were factors beyond the perceived undermining. And then when it comes to financial provisioning or a male income, like a man's ability to provide, um, it partially mediated the fact of partner condition when comparing benevolent sexist to non-benevolent egalitarian men. Yeah, so, and then no significant mediation was observed for the benevolent sexist versus the benevolent egalitarian man. And then for some discussion, so benevolent egalitarian men were generally most attractive. They combine warmth and kindness with low undermining signaling, respect and autonomy. The limitations, the vignettes lacked ecological validity, and the most of the participants were white. Future research should consider how men themselves negotiate benevolence and egalitarianism. Thank you for watching.